Um, so I've been really busy, so I don't really know a lot about what's going on. But what I do know is it's still going as slow as ever. Oh my God. Oh, so slow, so slow. But I've been really busy and I've had no sleep. Oh my God, I know I bitch about that all the time, but I've had no sleep. But I swear to God, it just gets worse. Now, uh, I don't know if I even said yesterday, but we're having such a flare up about the hips, trying to get all that under control with the medicine, and it's traumatic to go on pharmaceuticals, anyways. And when I've been trying so much natural stuff, but she was in so much pain, and get her to be comfortable. And so I think, oh, we're just getting back to sleep. But every freaking time she does better, she will go and she'll run or something because she's still young. And went out and ran, and I have tons and tons of rocks all over in my yard, giant rocks. And it's the only thing I can figure because she keeps busting her nails. And so now she busted the nail on her front paw, and it's split in three pieces. The encasement, like there's a part of their finger inside of there or something that sticks out. That's why you have to be careful when you cut their nail. But the nail kind of surrounds it, kind of like a hoof or something, And so then the nail part, the hoof part, it is all bent up, bent sideways, split in half all the way down to as far as you can see, and is hanging like that with the other little thing exposed in there. But there's no bleeding or pus or whatever. So I was trying to read on the Google of different things. And of course, there's two different, there's the vet things that they say, and then there's the nature way. And I went and did the vet thing wasn't the last time. I know she's broke it again since, but the time I took her to the vet for a broken nail, they removed the whole nail. She had to wear a donut. Which she does not. She'll spend all day just trying to take off. She will pout. Oh my gosh, she's so dramatic. And then antibiotics. You have to have the whole surgery thing, put them to sleep to get it removed. It's just the whole thing. It's super expensive, of course. And then you read, the other thing is like, this happens naturally in nature to them all the time. And they will keep it clean by licking it. And the only thing you need to worry about is if it's a bleeding and you can't stop the bleeding, because there's, I don't think it's the artery, but there's definitely a large vein or something. And it can just keep bleeding and bleeding. I don't know if they would bleed out. For a human, if you cut a vein, you can hold pressure. But artery, if you cut an artery, that's how people will die really super fast. And there's certain places in the body where the artery comes up close to the surface that are easier to do that to. But that's how people will bleed out real quick. It's not, normal if you just bleed to death. If somebody's bleeding to death from a venous kind of injury, it's a lot slower. But I think no matter what, I think bleeding to death is kind of just like going to sleep. I don't think it's super traumatic or something. Maybe the injury to get the bleeding was traumatic. But a lot of times I think about death of, from a soul's perspective of like, some deaths are so dramatic and traumatic. Like, oh my gosh, some are so horrible. And Mr. Ballin, I was outside, I was doing some stuff, I was outside, and then I came in and I thought maybe I got something on my leg or something. I was thinking, oh my gosh, my leg hurts. Feels like something's on there, like if you hit a thorn or something maybe. And so I looked down, I have this big cut on my leg and it's all bloody and looks bruised or something. Like I was doing something, I injured it. And, those kinds of injuries kill people all the time. These simple little injuries that you do around your house that you have I have no idea how I did that. I didn't even notice when I did it. And now, of course, it hurts. Then it draws your attention. But people outside doing that kind of stuff, and they get some sort of bacterias and stuff in there, and it can kill them real quick, or they have to, or people can, you can go on antibiotics and stuff. But if you have a weakened immune system, it kills people all the time. And it's just so crazy, especially because I just had a discussion with somebody about the new, it's beyond Delta now. There's a new one. It's way worse, way worse. And we all need to be really, really worried about this. And so I'm always just so like, okay. And then I get that, oh my God, I can't believe you don't take this serious, doc. And just because you want to be in denial doesn't mean there's not millions of people dying. I'm like, okay, well, look up the stats, then compare it. Then you'll know I'm not crazy. But that's too crazy. Then, so my whole take on it is that you can't die unless it's your time to go. And no matter what. And so when I'm out there and cut my leg and stuff like that, showed, the cut and said, this kills people all the time. You can't go around fearing life. You can't be so scared that you can't live because you're so scared you might die. Whatever's going to take you out is going to take you out. And it could be a really weird way. It could be a really gentle way. It will be some way. And we can't just always be in fear. Like, actually, the flu is a very gentle way to take people out, even though it is sickness, and we're all watching and we feel good. But when you're sick, you're very disconnected. You're not. My dad, when he was dying, he was leaving his body all the time. He was talking to people that weren't there. Working in the hospital, when you're working around people who are dying, they're disconnected. They're going back and forth from two different realms, probably more than two. They're going in different realities, in different realms. They're not just right there. They're not feeling all that pain. Their body's just dying. They're disconnecting from their body. And it's a slow, graceful process at times. And a flu is one of those kinds of times. And, people are just so triggered and so traumatized. And so I said, the news was made to create fear. They would sensationalize stories to get us to all be scared. And that's how it was forever, They used to have integrity, though. I remember back in the days, Walter Cronkite and stuff like that. Like, there was certain people that all the, regular human beings would basically worship and give all their respect to when they didn't really know the person. And then we saw how that got out of hand. We see where that goes to. And, you can't just trust somebody you don't know with your information. The only thing you can really trust is what you know with your own heart, what you see with your own eyes, what you experience your own self. That's your truth. It doesn't have to be somebody else's truth. It's just your truth. But when you have somebody who's always telling you the truth, but then when you're created just to create fear in a whole population, then you start manipulating that, and you start coming up with, we say this. Let's see how scared we can get them with this one. And I try to explain what's going on. They're sensationalizing things to create fear. And they're also connected to the people who are supplying people who supply these, people who supply these. All of these people are at the same Thanksgiving table. They're all in bed together. They're sharing a house. Like, get it through your head. They're all working hand in hand. They are the caterpillar, whatever that weird thing was that they made. The mouth gas thing, of all of them lined up. That's them. That's the system right there. I just saw it. Somebody has a cover of that on their video or something. They have a tattoo of, somebody got that tattooed on them. That link of ass to mouth of these people. But that is basically the system. And so, here we're going to create the fear, the next little part. Then we're going to supply this part, the next part. Well, we'll supply, you know what I mean? They work in tandem and they get rich off of that. And they're doing it right now, but they're also taking it to the next step because they're creating genocide because there's way too many. That was the big push about their the marketing of our climate and stuff like that. was to get us to understand that some of us got to go. We've got to go. And, you know, the world's going to take some of us out because that's just the way it is. But we're just not manageable. It's too high in numbers. They can't, you know, and we can see why. Like, it's all over the place. Australia's gone against their government. I mean, everybody is going against these controlling, the masters of this planet. They're going against them. They see them. They see the fraud. They see the bullshit. They see through it. And they're going up against them. So, yeah. And now they're in a, you know, big old hurry to try and kill a bunch of us real quick. So, you know, that's what's happening. But you can't die before your time. So, in whatever you go through with your experience, if you get an injury or whatever, however the stuff affects you is how it was supposed to affect you. It was how your soul wanted to be awakened, to understand how it thought it would best be able to identify the things that it was going to understand. And it is mind-boggling, yeah, to me, especially when I'm talking to people and they don't see anything of the reality as being, it's so real. Can't see through the holes. Even though they know that they're there, they still think it's, you know, it's crazy. Yeah, it's so weird. But anyways, you know, Mr. Ball and stuff, you know, when he just shows people you can die of any weird thing at any time when it's your time to go. The most strangest thing can happen. And, you know, we're all going to transition. And maybe some of those people are just very, very dramatic. They really want to go out with a bang. Who knows? Because some of the ways are just wicked crazy. But you can't, yours won't happen before it's supposed to. And all of these different things, you know, I tried to also make the point, like I lived through HIV and AIDS. Like, I was dating in that time. That was part of our world. And it went on for a long time, much longer than this. And it was a death sentence, for sure. There was no, I mean, at that point, we didn't know if you went in the bathroom after somebody, if you were going to get it. I mean, there was so much information coming at us to create fear. And people, we lived years and years. Like, you didn't know if you kissed somebody who had bleeding gums if you were going to get it. It was mental. And that's when the herpes thing blew up. So everybody's getting herpes. And, you know, and you're glitty, like, you're, oh, thank God, I just got the herpes, you know. It was crazy times. This is not, I mean, this is, throughout this, I've been living in my cabin, you know, doing stuff and, you know, just living my life. I'm kind of a different kind of life than I lived before, but, you know, back then you were really out there, like, it was really scary. Like, this is a flu. Generally will not kill you. Some people will die, yes, but it was the way they were going to die. Some people have weakened immune systems, and maybe they didn't know they had, you know, scarring on their heart from the time they had a high temperature as a baby. And, you know, this is what was going to take them out. And it seemed unfair because they were only 24. There's just so many factors. But when they are constantly coming at you, you know, to create fear, they want you to get scared of every little thing. Like, oh, that person's story could happen. That person's story could happen. Oh, this could happen to me. All these horrible, tragic things can happen to me. But then when you step back and you become logical, then you start seeing, like, yeah, they could. So am I going to sit here and just be so scared every day? Because it's not likely. I mean, how many times does lightning strike in the same place? We just have to really get a grip on our emotions, get a handle on our perspective, you know, and start using our logic and critical thinking. And, you know, that's how you can conquer fear, control, manipulation. You know, use your logic. And there was some other stuff I want to talk about real quick, so I'll be right back.